Okay, if there's any board members out in the audience, we just need a quorum in order to begin, which will be in less than 1 minute.
You behaving yourself or what?
I am.
Is it
Okay, great. So it is officially 5:30. We have 1, 2, 3. Yep, so we have a quorum. So we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. And we will work on 1.2, and our very own Vice President, Ms. Rogers, will be bringing the person she selected today.
Yes, I have a gentleman that's going to come and lead us in the pledge. He's going to tell us his name and what school he's from.
And I know the mom.
Yes, you do. We know them
Yes,
dearly.
Hi, how are you doing? Your son is so big.
Yes,
I went to
we know
school-
him.
Wow,
We
he's
I went to
know
so
school
him.
with
taller.
his late father. His father
Yes,
was a-
we did. Yes, we
Oh,
knew
you
your
remember
father.
Newman? Yeah.
we knew your father.
in the band, trumpet player.
He's like, goodness, I'm supposed to be doing the play. Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, we're already talking
Follow
about
suit.
All right, great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And what school do you go to? Did you say that? Did you, by chance? Maybe you can introduce yourself. If you can introduce yourself in the mic, it should be able to work. They're coming.
My name is Newman Sneed. I am a senior at Middle College High School.
Yay! What grade? Oh, senior. I didn't hear the senior part. Okay. 12th grade. There you go. I didn't hear that part. Okay, so let's go ahead and 1.3, adoption of the agenda. Before we adopt, are there any changes? None?
So move.
Second.
Okay. Let's go ahead and call for the vote. All's in favor say aye.
Aye.
All's opposed say nay. Motion carried. 1.4, inspirational message. And so I was looking at what is the day, I guess, what part of history is today. And so today is, right, Black History Month. We have Black History Month. But today officially, January the 5th, is Chinese New Year, 2019.
February the 5th.
So, and what'd you say?
You said January. It's February. the
January. Oh, no, February. You're right, February. I was looking at the wrong date. Okay. So the Lunar New Year, the ancient Chinese lunar calendar on which Chinese year is based, function as a religious, dynastic, and social guide. And so that's, trying to narrow it down. And then Chinese New Year typically begins with the new moon that occurs between the end of January and the end of February. And it lasts for about 15 days until the full moon arrives with the Festival of Lanterns. So that is the Lunar New Year. And with that, I gathered several Chinese proverbs, and I'll go ahead and read a few of these. When the winds of change blow, some people build walls, others build windmills. Another one is, tell me I forget, show me I remember, involve me, I understand. Another one is, to talk much and arrive nowhere is the same as climbing a tree to catch a fish. Give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish and you feed him for a lifetime. Make happy those who are near, and those who are far will come. And of course, the last one here is, Be not afraid of growing slowly. Be afraid of only of standing still. Okay, so that's Chinese proverbs, and I do have. I want to go ahead and pass the mic to our Dr. Hill, and if you don't mind.
Thank you, Madam President. I sent a note down. Many of you know our longtime substitute, Maria. What is Maria's last name, Dr. Weissman? The shorter African-American substitute who comes in with the group. Okay, thank you. If you would come up to give her name.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's Telma Hill.
Okay.
Yeah, she passed on. She left us the early part of last week. Yeah, that's right, the early part of last week. And services are pending, but she was very faithful. She always helped me to do orientation, and she would always come to this meeting, even when many of the others of us could not come. And so we will miss her, and she was very faithful. She was also a retired teacher in this district. So again, we will miss her.
Thank you so much. And I just was hoping we could just have a moment of silence because she almost every meeting was here sitting with the our guest teachers. Thank you. Thank you, and thank you, Madam President, for doing this honor. Thank you.
Thank you. No, and thank you for bringing that to us. We definitely want to honor those who have inspired us. So we're going to go ahead and go to, which is really quickly, 2.0, 2.1, closed session, closed session, public comments. Do we have any public comments regarding closed session items? No. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and adjourn, and we should be back around 6:15. right, good evening, everyone. We are back from closed session. We will not be reading anything out. So as we reconvene, I will go ahead and hit the gavel. We're going to go to 4.0 administrative presentation. 4.1 board members, safety threat assessment team stat update. Dr. Marsden? There's Girl Scout cookies. This is a season for Girl Scouts cookie, and our very own parent from our schools is here. So if you're interested in buying Girl Scouts cookies, she's right here in the front row.
Not necessarily an endorsed advertisement,
No,
but we do
but-
want you aware that that's a board. It's our pleasure to welcome our team, our crew, who has really been working not just locally but nationally, seen as leaders on the topic of school safety statewide. Very proud of our accomplishments. I really want to compliment the leadership of this board. It's no easy task when you're dealing with school safety. The topic is so broad. You want to react emotionally, and this board has really taken a thoughtful approach, and so I want to compliment the board and their leadership and compliment the ladies and gentlemen of our teams who have done the work they've done, and tonight they're going to give you a brief overview. So with that, I'll turn it over to our Chief of School Police, Joe Polino, and Eric Vatier, our Safety Officer. Good evening, gentlemen. Welcome. And welcome to your team.
Yeah, Dr. Marsden, thank you.
Thank
I
you.
believe we'll have Ms. Costas there to start us off. Go ahead, Jean.
Dr. Marsden pretty much said it all, but a safe and welcoming learning environments are a priority for this board. Most recent investments by the board included visitor management system, Raptor, which is now implemented at all of our school sites and our offices, fencing standardization, some funding for door viewers for classrooms, and internal locks for all of our classrooms. And the community has further supported this with the passage of Measure N to fund safety measures throughout the district, including cameras at all sites, intrusion alarms, and some of our single point entries, safety vehicles. And we have a lot of support internally. We have the expertise inside of our district and outside of our district. We have the privilege of hearing from Chief Polino and Mr. Vatier. They collaborate internationally with safety experts, and so.
Board, it's good to be here. On behalf of the men and women that does this work, we know that safety, whenever this conversation is had, is always that pressing conversation that we have when it comes to safety and security across the board. And this conversation is a conversation that entities like this have across our nation every day. And so it's a pleasure to be a part of this conversation and be able to speak to the things that the board has directed, as well as the community, in terms of their voice, have sent forward that we should be doing. And if you look at the slide, it talks about this entity, which is a safety and threat assessment team. This team is made up of a variety of folks within the district, as well as others that have lent their voice to our work. And from this team, you'll get a sense of student voice, parent voice, as well as our staff, safety and security experts that we have ran across our nation. And our goal is to make sure that we provide a safe learning environment and working environment for the men and women that comes in contact with our entity. And by the way, this is done through a collaborative in terms of a partnership. We know that we get further together, so we have solicited partners to be able to have this conversation with us. Some of those partners are mentioned under A, the City of San Bernardino, City of Highland, and as you move down, California Department of Education, as far as a collaborative that has helped us with this conversation. And under B, state as well as being state as well as national advocates for this work. You'll find that, for instance, myself was placed on a statewide board that had a conversation in terms of safety, and when we look at fatal school shootings across our nation. And from that work, emerged a toolkit that school districts can use across our state. So we're real proud of that work, as well as them have traveled nationally to be able to speak on our work when it comes to safety. So we're truly on the cutting edge and when it comes to this conversation. And under 3, safety and related and facility improvements, we know that we're always looking at best practices across our board and when it comes to safety, the things that's being done. So crime prevention through environment and design is one of those best practices that we've utilized to be able to drive our work. And Mr. Fatir, as well as myself, are certified to be able to speak in terms of SEPTEC design, in terms of looking at the way we utilize that concept to be able to drive our work. You know, in terms of number 4, policy and procedures, you'll find we'll put forth recommendations in terms of things that we should do, practices that we should have within the district to be able to drive the way we do our work and make our work a lot better. In terms of the current state, you know that the parameters that we utilize to be able to drive the conversation of safety is our community engagement plan. So strategic plan number 9, health, wellness, and safety, is that language that helps to guide our work when it comes to safety. And then, of course, if you traveled across our district lately, you should have encountered the RAFTER program, which is our visitor management system, which has been implemented across our district. And of course, at your next board meeting, you'll be approving the comprehensive school safety plans that our safety office, as well as other police officers, have been working on in conjunction with our administrators. And then, of course, number 4 speaks to our anonymous reporting platform. See something, say something. Our partnership with WeTip, which goes back a couple years, with our work with our Safe School Task Force that we have. WeTip was one of those initial partners that came on with us. So WeTip is real dear to our heart. And of course, not mentioned under 4 is other things that we're doing in terms of our community ability to be able to report things online, directly to our police department as well as call in. You know that they said that an informed community is a safer community. So our employees are being trained in armed intruder awareness. It's over 2,500 employees that has been trained in terms of how do we respond to armed intruders in our system. And of course, through our safety office, CPR, first aid, as well as stop the bleed, where 1,800 of our employees has also been trained in those skills as well. And of course, there's some folks that's real integral to this work is our campus security officers. And we know the more informed that we are, the better we are for our system. It's a better system when people are informed. So mental health awareness, we believe, has been real vital with our campus security officers to make sure they're trained up and to be able to deal with any mental health issue that they may encounter on our campus. And of course, we know that the board has always championed the work of Safe Route to School in terms of a variety of things that has been done. In terms of bullet number 1, ours is always identify and promote safe walking routes for our students as well as staff that may come in on and off our campus. However, this is driven by 3 things: making sure that our community is educated, the engineering that's done, as well as the enforcement piece. An example of education is where, for instance, at Pacific, where we had the young lady that was killed in that car accident, we did our best to make sure we're out there educating people on that speed kills, making sure that we've put information on our platform on the internet, making sure that we've done the things to be able to educate our community. In the engineering piece, where you see red curves as well as stop signs, would be a part of that whole engineering piece. And of course, if it comes down to it, where we do an enforcement piece when it comes to Safe Route to School. And by the way, nothing that we do isn't done without partnerships And so we thank the City of San Bernardino, their Quality of Life team, City of Highland, for being solid partners with us in this endeavor to make sure that we have safe schools.
All right, thank you.
And I'll turn it over to Mr. Vitero.
Good evening, Board, Cabinet. So I'm going to walk you through a few slides that have to do with our facilities improvements. And obviously I don't build schools, so we have our amazing team behind us with facilities and maintenance and operations that oversee this work through our stat team. So our single points of entry, what the intent there is that once the school day starts, the perimeter gates of a school, the various walk-through gates, the various drive-through gates are all secured. And by design, visitors would then be directed to a front office. So, and this is through our CEPTED strategy. So the offices should be clearly marked, clearly visible. You should be able to readily identify where an office is at so that you go there, that's your intent, is to arrive at the office. So with our varying school structures, the various years they've been built, we're in different completion stages of making sure that the schools have the single point of entry as designed. Technology is a force multiplier. We're in 2019. Everything in this room that we're using right now is better than it was 10 years ago, and that's the way we need to look at our schools and the technology that's available. You'll see the door buzzer picture here. This is at North Park Elementary. This is what's required as you approach the office door. This will be what's on the door of every one of our facilities as you approach the office, so that you'll push it like a doorbell, and a camera will come up inside. The receptionist will be able to see you, greet you, and then determine if to buzz you into the office or not, at which time they'll hit a door buzzer and let you into the office. And we anticipate across our entire system, we'll have these systems up and running by August of 2019. And then our camera systems, you guys have approved those many years ago, and those have been up and running long before the STAT team was established under the chief's wonderful leadership and Tom Pace out of facilities to make sure that our camera systems and our dispatch centers and our cop cars all can view our camera systems 24/7. So our perimeter fencing obviously looks different depending on the age of the school. We have many schools that you're able to reach over and open a gate, open a fence, open a panic gate. So we wanted to make sure that moving forward, that as we replace fencing, as we build new schools, that there is a standard that's established within our school district. Some of the changes you'll see are smaller diameter chain link fence. So the next time you drive over a freeway overpass, pay attention to the chain link. It's smaller. It's 1 inch in diameter. Makes it very difficult for intruders to climb a fence like that. And so we're looking at moving that direction as we replace or repair fencing within the school district. And this work has all been established and done and checked out by our teams. They've toured every campus to see what the fencing looks like, what may be needed at various school sites. You'll see 3 examples here of some of the most recent projects. And this is the smaller diameter colored fencing so that it looks a little more aesthetically pleasing, blends in a little more with the grass. It's not just the standard gray. So our classrooms is where everything happens. This is the safety zone. This is the areas that we need to keep secure during a lockdown or lockout. And so what we've established with our classrooms is you should be able to see outside of every room with the door shut. So we should not have teachers that are in rooms where somebody's knocking and they have to physically open the door to see who's out there, that they're able to see who's outside their classroom when it's secured. And so in doing this, we're able to establish 2-inch door viewers. So from 7 feet away from the door, the teachers can view and be able to see who's outside the classroom. It's not the smaller version of a door viewer that you're used to where you have to get right up to the door to see out. They can see it from a distance. It meets ADA compliance. And so our teams have gone around to count how many doors on each school site are going to need these, as well as being able to secure a room from the inside of the classroom. So if a teacher would have to exit the classroom to lock the classroom door, that's not safe. We want our staff to be able to secure their room if they're put on a lockdown or lockout from inside the room without having to leave. So we've identified the doors on all of our campuses that would require new door hardware. And our team anticipates having this done by the 2019-2020 school year. turn it back over to Ms. Christakis.
And then just to wrap it up, we continue our work. We'll continue with those facility modifications. We'll keep you updated on that. And as you heard Mr. Batir talk about, we'll continue to use technology to enhance our safety. The team monitors for online or social media threats. And then you will periodically see updates for policy and procedure recommendations as we continue to implement best practices. And I want to thank the team. They're a great team.
Yeah, and I too want to just thank you, Janie, for your leadership, Joe, your team, everybody. You guys have just, Tom, you've just done just a wonderful job responding to the needs that our communities had in our schools. You know, I want to also thank Linda Bardier. She sits quietly over here. She's had a huge role in the safety of our district through communications. Board recently, I was asked by our county superintendent to present to all of our superintendents at the state superintendent's conference, and Ted Alejandro, myself, and Deputy Chief Torres presented Linda's, among many other things, Linda's checklist. You may recall that is now the most demanded item that we have several requests pouring in now to her office for the checklist, because in there you can flip to any emergency event you can imagine, including a plane crash off campus, which we've had. And you go through that checklist, what do you do? And it's all there. And so this team has just had a tremendous impact on the work that's here. So I just want to compliment them. Thank you so much. And Doug, thank you for your leadership. Welcome to the team as well.
Thank you so much for your presentation. It just shows the amount of work that we're doing in the school district, but also the type of leadership that we have. And so I want to say thank you to the whole department, as well as the emergency work that you do within our district. I also want to go ahead and ask board members if there are any questions or comments. Dr. Hill?
Thank you. Just want to say thanks for such a great presentation. I just have one question as we talk about safety. Do you work in partnership with Cal State, San Bernardino Valley College? And the last one, we have a lot of private security agencies. What's our relationship with them?
Yeah, definitely, Dr. Hill, your question is right on. A part of our commitment to all our partners, if it's an issue, it's our issue as well. So Cal State, when Chief Jimmy Brown was there, part of our commitment was to make sure that we support them. They support us at graduation, on and about. And I believe Chief Al Jackson is here from Valley College and supported us in presentation. So we work with our partners to make sure that we help if it's an issue.
Okay, thank you. Thanks so much.
All right, thank you. Any other board members? Ms. Rogers? Nope, nothing. Okay, well, thank you for your presentation. And I know we're doing some great things.
Well done.
Okay. We're going to go ahead. Before I go in to 5.0, which is student board members' comments, I do want to recognize, and he will be speaking later on during public comments, our City of San Bernardino Mayor, John Valdivia, who is here present, and he'll be speaking a little bit during our public comments.
Welcome.
Okay. All right, so our student board members, Mr. Wilder, if you wanted to go ahead and make your student comments. Student board member comments.
Good evening, but I have nothing to share at this.
Thank you.
Okay, great. And then Ms. Milton?
Good evening. I would like to talk about, well, I just said that the student council meeting that we had 2 weeks ago was a success, seeing all the other students there, and then just talking about all the problems that goes on at our school. And then at my last meeting for my youth empowerment, I saw Miss Rogers there, and that was fun to see her, took pictures and stuff. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. We're going to go ahead and go to 6.0, public comments. This is a time during the agenda when the Board of Education is prepared to receive comments from the public on any matter within its jurisdiction. When recognized, give your name and limit your comments to 5 minutes or less. For public comments by 6 or more individuals on any one topic, the time limit is 30 minutes. Please monitor your time, and you will see the time clock on the back, and that should be able to give you some idea of how much time you have left. Okay, Dr. Marsden?
Yes, and as mentioned earlier, Madam President, our first speaker tonight is our mayor of our city, John Valdivia. Welcome, Mr. Mayor. Glad to have you here this evening.
Thank you, Dr. Marsden. I'm John Valdivia, Mayor of City of San Bernardino. It gives me great delight to be here with you tonight. We want to send our deepest appreciation for all of the school board members here present, and we thank you for your commitment to our community. I am deeply indebted to all of the school board members' actions and really the staff members that make San Bernardino City Schools go. And this is a great badge of honor for our school board members and our community. We want to say and convey our deep commitment to this relationship, garnered with trust, respect, and we certainly want to send that signal subliminally, overtly, and we want to make sure that you know you have a friend at City Hall. Our commitment is to work in collaboration and partnership with our city schools. You're a very important team player in our community, and we want to send that signal. After having lunch today with Dr. Marsden, I'm very appreciative, sir, of your gesture, and we are going to reestablish the Education Bridge Committee, and I'm going to see to it that we appoint some like-minded friends at City Council, at City Hall, to make sure that we have those clear lines communicating our partnership. Collaboration is key, and we need to send that signal, and so I will be reinstituting the Education Bridge Committee, ensuring that we have an open dialogue with our community school members and certainly our school board trustees, and so we're very appreciative of that. And finally, we make that commitment to make sure that our sidewalks, our alleyways, in my conversation with Dr. Marsden this afternoon, is we want to be a good partner. We applaud the efforts of our school board members making those walks to our public schools and sidewalks. Those are important, key quality of life impacts for our children, for our families, for our residents. Know that you have a friend at San Bernardino City Hall, and we applaud it, and we wish you the best in your new year here, and also happy Lunar New Year. So we have a big contingent of Asian students in our community, as well as taxpayers and business shopkeepers. So our very best wishes to you, and we thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you so much for your time today.
All right, thank you.
Board welcomes Newman Sneed, the second Socialites Battalion Program. Welcome, Mr. Sneed. Come on up.
Hello, San Bernardino City.
Good evening.
Vice-
Go ahead and put that right by your mouth so it can hear you better. There you go. Very good. Perfect.
Hello.
There you go. That's better.
My name is Newman Sneed. I am a student at Middle College High School. I am a senior. My GPA is 3.76.
Wow. That's awesome. Good job, man.
Thank you. Middle College allows me dual enrollment with San Bernardino Valley College. So after one semester after graduating from Middle College, I will have my AA degree.
Oh, man. That's awesome.
I am also an Eagle Scout currently. I am a member in the Socialites Battalion Ball, and I am here to ask the San Bernardino City Unified School District if they would sponsor me in the battalion.
Well, fantastic. We thank you so much for your request, and we'll certainly discuss it. But let me make sure I heard this right. You have a GPA of 3.76. You're going to graduate high school with your one semester after high school with your associates, and you're an Eagle Scout.
Yes.
That is a huge accomplishment. You've accomplished more than most people in their life. So give this guy another round of applause. That's absolutely fantastic. You are a model student for our community, and we are so proud of you, and be our pleasure to respond to you, and so you can expect a response. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Board now welcomes Linda Hart with a Save the Date. Good evening and welcome.
Well, good evening to the chair, vice president, president, and the board members. Yes, I'm here to give you each an invite, if I may. I divided it.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Okay. Rogers, actually.
So the African American Mental Health Coalition created a law introduced by former Assembly Member Carter and signed by the Governor of California in 2010 to recognize the second week in February as African American Mental Health Awareness Week. In keeping, we are hosting a symposium highlighting the impact of historical trauma and racism on mental health. February 15, 2019 at Cal State University Theater from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Our guest speaker, I put some of her background into your letter, but just to kind of highlight Dr. Pepera, she has traveled to Ghana, Mexico, Egypt, and India studying mental health approaches with indigenous cultural and local spiritual traditions. Her current position, she is the Deputy Chief Psychologist of Mental Health Services in the Federal Bureau of Prisons in Victorville. As a professor of psychology for the University of Phoenix, in closing, she was featured as a speaker to the United Nations 65th NGO conference on the topic of mental illness and invisible disability. The symposium will also feature an African diaspora panel from Ghana, Ethiopia, Nigeria, and Kenya, who will address mental issues defined within their community and how mental illness is understood. We invite the board members, we invite the superintendent and educators to join us for this great learning opportunity. So we're looking forward, if you can, to attend. It's going to be quite inspiring. So again, thank you for having me and allowing me the opportunity to speak. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Linda.
Thank you, Ms. Hart, and what a wonderful accomplishment, and looking forward to seeing who we can get to represent from the district there. Thank you. And I myself will make an effort to be there if I can. The board welcomes Dion Taylor, invitation to swearing-in ceremony for Assembly Member James Ramos. Welcome. Good evening. Good to see you again.
Thank you. Good to see you. First of all, my name is Dion Taylor. I'm here on behalf of the Assemblyman James Ramos to cordially invite you guys to our swearing-in ceremony today. I'm not sure if everyone received emails, but it'll be this Saturday at 12 noon to 1:30 at Santos Manuel Student Union at Cal State San Bernardino. So thank you so much. Mr. Ramos is looking forward to partnering with the school board and the members of the community. I really stress that we get involved, so we will be involved with Gwen with the African American Parent Advisory Council and those key committees that the school board has designated. We want to strengthen those because those are the ones that's actually contacting the community and will have an effect from the home to the classroom. So we want to just say thank you so much, and we're going to get ready for this partnership, and we truly will make a positive change and a better quality of life for our students here in San Bernardino. Thank you.
We want to thank you. Thank you for making the time to be here. And is it accurate that Mr. Ramos is the first Native American ever voted into the assembly?
Yes,
is that
the
correct?
first California, yes, Native American.
Wow.
And that is his grandfather, the Student Union, the Santo Manuel
Yep.
Student Union, that is his grandfather. That's named after his granddad.
Well, thank you.
His
Thank you very
great-granddad.
much. Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Yes, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Board welcomes Allison Bach. Would like to address the board to inquire about lead testing of water pipes. Thank you and good evening. Welcome, Ms. Bach. And we will help you with a microphone. Give us 1 second. And actually what we might do is have you, well, your standing is perfect because we can actually see you better on the camera, but we'll give you a microphone there to speak.
Or, yeah, it would be better for you to use the one near the chair. That way you can see yourself and people.
There we go. Perfect. All right.
Can I just?
Is that okay for you? That works for us if that works for you. Go ahead.
Good evening, members of the board. I am a third grade student at Belvedere Elementary. My parents send me to school every day with filtered water. When I see my friends drink from the water fountain, I wonder when they were last tested for lead. I know lead can damage the brain, so I am hoping Belvedere water pipes are lead-free. Thank you.
Great, thank you. You're going to
Oh,
be a
very
huge
good.
advocate.
And you know what? I can help you with your request right now because we actually have Mr. Eric Vatier, who is our district safety officer, standing right here. He's waving at you if you turn around, and he will talk with you, and he can answer your question right away. How's that? Okay? See, you already got action coming to the school board. Isn't that great? We're so grateful you're here. Thank you so much for coming tonight.
Thank you.
Board welcomes Miss Nikki Blackburn. And Ms. Blackburn would like the board to recognize the need for new multi-purpose buildings in several of our schools. So good evening, welcome, glad you're here.
Good evening, members of the board. Thank you for this opportunity to address you regarding the lunchrooms at many of our school campuses. I started realizing after working for the district for a number of years that many of our students take one of their meals per day, sometimes two of their meals per day, and if they attend CAPS and have a snack there in the afternoon, it's sometimes 3 meals per day in the multi-purpose room, and many of them have seen a lot of wear and could just use an upgrade. And I was thinking about it in particular with Belvedere, that if, from a safety perspective, if they ever needed to clear that field, if there were a brand new building in that place that had doors that opened out to the field, it would be a nice way to get all the children inside to safety fairly quickly. So if we need another reason to upgrade those facilities, that could be added on as another good reason. But I do think it's really important for the kids to be able to eat in an environment that is pleasant and enjoyable.
Very
Thank
good.
you so much.
Well, thank you for your comments tonight. So appreciated, and we'll certainly consider your request. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And was that your daughter that spoke?
It is.
All right.
Yes, I'm a proud parent.
Proud parent, good
Amazing.
job. That's great.
And my comments are just because she really wanted to come, and so I thought,
That's
well,
great.
the cafeterias
Definitely.
are always on my mind, so
Wonderful.
I'll address
There you
them as
go.
well. But it was her
Thank you,
idea
thank
to
you.
come.
And that's what a
great.
great parent does.
Yeah,
You know,
great to
you
see
have
your
your children
leadership.
speak up and use their voice as well. Thank you.
Absolutely. So we have a number of public members who want to speak on the topic of Hardy Brown College Prep Academy. And so I will read off your names, but what we're going to ask is that you organize yourselves how you'd like to speak, in the order you'd like to speak. Please come up. Your comments will be limited by time, so just pay attention to that time. So please come on up. Board welcomes Ms. Allen, Ms. Hernandez, Eric Canada, Rafi Bell, Ian Garrett, Sharon Storm. And again, if you're not speaking as one group, then we'll have you speak separately. But I believe you may be as one group. Is that correct or not correct? Okay, thank you.
All right, good evening, board members.
Good evening, welcome.
Thank you. My name is Toya Allen, the principal of Hardy Brown College Prep. We are here this evening because we have a couple of middle school scholars who would like to speak about their middle school experience at a camp, Camp Cuyamaca in San Diego County. I was there for a couple of days, and our scholars really enjoyed the experience. They had a lot of hands-on outdoor experience with science, and I know our scholars just really enjoyed it. I don't want to take up their time because they have prepared a speech for you, and they're going to share some pictures with you as well. But before they speak, I'm going to have Rafi Bell, our science teacher at Hardy Brown College Prep, speak.
Good evening.
Good evening.
It's great to be here. My name is Rafi Bell. The kids call me Mr. Bell, and I have the privilege of teaching science, 6th through 8th grade science at Hardy Brown College Prep. And I was we went to Camp Cuyamaca for the first time that our school has been open. It was a 3-night, 4-day camp in San Diego. And it is the second oldest outdoor camp school in the country. And we had I had a chance to chaperone along with some of my other colleagues, and we had a great time. And we just I'm very appreciative of our board making the decision to bring our 6th grade scholars to camp, and I'm appreciative of all of you because you guys recently renewed our charter, which gives us an opportunity to do this. So we just want to share, we have some of our students here who want to share about their experiences. And before, we also have some pictures that we want to share with you so you can get a feel of what they experienced. So,
And Mr. Bell graduated from our high school.
yes,
Royal
Valley.
Royal Valley, what year?
Fantastic.
2004.
Hey, great alumni. All right. Go Hawks.
So do we swipe?
Hi, my name is Shannon Hernandez, and my experience at Cuyamaca 6th grade camp was awesome. Before I went to the camp, I had to take a 2.5-hour bus ride to get there. When I got there, I met new people and did activities I never did before. One activity I did was a Native American program. We tried to make fire and we played a game with acorns. It was really fun. On the second day, I went on a 2-hour hike. And on the third day of camp, my group and I went on a 6-hour hike. They called it an all-day adventure. I climbed rocks with my friends and ate lunch by a river. Another thing I did was woodcraft. See here, this is my craft that I made. And I also made it with some of my friends made it. The way we made it was with a manzanita branch, and we had to scrape off the old bark, sand it, and then glaze it to make it very shiny. I really enjoyed it. The things that were my favorite were the food and that the camp had a safe environment for animals. I liked the food because there was a good variety and it tasted very well. I also liked that there was a safe environment for animals because I could learn new things about them and their behavior. On the last night of camp, there was a talent show. I saw cool and funny skits, people singing and playing instruments, and a lot more. When you consider Cuyamaca 6th grade camp, you need to check out the forecast because it was very cold there. I had to put layer upon layer of clothing till I was warm. I had a blast down at Cuyamaca 6th grade camp, and if you were in my shoes, you would have too. I wish I could stay in 6th grade forever so I can keep going to the camp. Thank you for letting me share my experience with y'all.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Eric Canada, and I'm here to give you a speech about my experience at camp. My experience at Cuyamaca 6th grade camp was really fun. We did a lot of activities like the Native American program. The Native American program is when we would meet in a room and get in a group of 6. We played 2 games. One was called the acorn game and the other one was called making fire. The acorn game is when we would get 4 acorn shells and roll them in a cup. The amount of shells landed is the amount of points we would get. The fire game is when we would use a bow and arrow and 2 sticks, rub them together, and then once you would rub them together for an amount of time, smoke would appear. You would blow on it and hopefully make fire. Another reason why I had a good time is because I made a lot of friends. I made at least 10 new friends. We would go on a lot of nature hikes. We went on 3 hikes out of the 1 week we were there. On the last full day we were there, we did an all-day adventure hike. It was a 6-hour hike. We saw animal bones, deers, and wild turkeys. On the first hike, we saw this plant, and our hike group leader, Mr. Pat, said that it was edible, and the plant was called buckwheat. It was not good, but I just liked to eat it. The food at camp was really good. My favorite foods there was the pizza and the pancakes. There were 2 more activities. One was when we would get a rock and then make it smooth and rub it with sandpaper and then buff it. And the other one is when we would get a piece of wood and scrape the bark off of it and then smoothen it out. But overall, my experience was really fun. Thank you for listening to my speech.
Thank you very much. Wow. And thank you for that update. We appreciate it. And thanks for sharing pictures and your stories. That's great. Very good. And those are all the public comments tonight, Board.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. We're going to go ahead and go to 7.0, reports and comments. 7.1, report by San Bernardino Teachers Association. Ashley Alcala.
Good evening, members of the board, President Medina, Vice President Rogers, other esteemed board members, superintendent and cabinet. I'm Ashley Vitas Alcala, the president of the San Bernardino Teachers Association. And tonight I just wanted to bring your attention to a very important recognition. This is the week of the school counselor. National School Counseling Week is always the first week in February. And we definitely want to thank those unit members for their contributions to our students and also their support of other faculty members as well. So please remember to thank your school counselors this week and to recognize them.
Thank
Okay,
you.
great. Thank you. Okay, let's go to 7.2, report by California School Employees Association. Do we have Carl?
No
Greenwood?
report.
Nope. Okay, 7.3, report by Communication Workers of America. Teresa Hunter? No?
No report.
Let's go ahead and 7.4, report by San Bernardino School Police Officers Association. Got tongue-tied there.
No report.
7.5, comments by board members. If we can start with Dr. Wyatt, and then we'll move along this way.
Thank you, Madam President, and I'll try to keep it brief. Just want to say thank you again to Chief Polino and Assistant Chief Donahue and Safety Manager Batir, as well as the rest of the men and women in blue for their presentation and, more importantly, for the hedge of protection that they provide our students in our community every day. We greatly appreciate you, so thank you again always for your efforts and your dedication and duty to our community. Also wanted to thank Mayor Valdivia for coming out today. That was great. I wanted to make comments to him before he left, but I'm sure he's a busy man. He took off right out of here, but very nice to see him here today, and nice to hear that he met with Dr. Marsden as well. And really just continue to build that relationship with City Hall and the rest of our esteemed city council members down there, and looking forward to that and seeing our bridge committee taking off. I think that's really important that we establish that relationship with our city. I've said that up here before, and just glad to see him come down here and personally say hello to all of us. Really nice touch. I also want to reach out to him, and I'll send him a message as well to invite him to also the Countywide Gangs and Drugs Task Force. We definitely, it is tomorrow morning, our general membership meeting at 7:30 at Downtown Sheriff's Department, 2nd floor. I believe our esteemed Chief Polino will be our guest presenter to our community. Looking forward to that as well. Thank you, Chief. Mayor Valdivia, if you could have yourself or somebody from your office be at that meeting, and also our executive board would be great, so we can, again, build that relationship on multiple levels. And then last but not least, and I know we have a number of great accolades throughout our city at many of our schools, but you know, I was speaking to one of our Cajon High School dads, wrestling dad, and I believe they won the CBL championship, and a number of our wrestlers also took first place in the big tournament. And like I believe it was Indian Springs last time, our Cajon wrestling team going into the CIF final. So I want to wish them well and wish them luck in their future endeavors in the tournament, and I'm sure they're going to make us proud and do very well. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Wyatt. Dr. Hill?
Thank you, Madam President. Just a few things, and I also want to say thanks to the staff. We've been involved, or at least I know I have, and a few others been involved on a number of campuses, and the staff members, whether they're classified or certificated, doing a great job, and just want to say thank you. And for Cabinet, just really appreciate you and support staff. Thank you for the good job you're doing, keeping us alert and aware of everything that's going on in the district. I can't say thank you enough, and I just want you to know how much you are appreciated. I'm glad Miss Ashley is still here, because even though I'm very appreciative of Counselors Week and support counselors, And if I could say anything about counselors, we need more of them. However, about a year ago, the counseling team came in and made a presentation. And one of the questions I asked, if I visit seniors on campus by mid-December, will they all tell me they would have seen a counselor by then? And they told me yes. And I don't know if they thought I was going to forget or not. But last week, Ms. Rogers and I visited 3 high school campuses, saw wonderful employees. We didn't see any of the counselors, but we went on campus during lunchtime, didn't want to disturb any classes, talked to students, and it was great. The students were absolutely marvelous. The one complaint I heard from the students, they wanted to know, why can't we all be in Avid? And of course, my comment was, I've been asking that question for years. I think Avid should be available on all campuses. So hopefully we'll do something about it. But unfortunately, we did talk to some seniors who had not spoken to their counselors. And we know sometimes there are reasons for whatever happens. So, Miss Ashley, let them know that I was a little disappointed. But I sure spoke to some great kids, and there are some counselors. It doesn't mean that all these students had not seen the counselors, but I was kind of led to believe every senior would have. We spoke with them and just said we were there to make sure they were on track, because if graduation at each high school is not 100%, then we let some students down. And we did not engage students to the extent possible. Also want to share with you, with this being Black History Month, February 12th, 13th, 14th, we will have our Black History Bee at the Feldheim Library. The 12th would be the middle schools, 13th, 14th would be the elementary schools. Just want you to know, when we first started this, we did this on a Saturday morning for about 3 hours, and now we're up to 3 days of doing this, and great event. So if you get a chance, please come out. A very diverse group of students, and they know their history, and you would be really amazed at how prepared they are. So please come out and join them and let the students know how much we appreciate them learning not only Black history but all cultures. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Dr. Hill. Ms. Rogers?
Thank you. Just a few things, because Mike is monitoring me right now. Pacific, I just want to make a note on Pacific. I know there was a point in time we were talking about our signages around the schools, and I just happened to look at Pacific sign, and it just looks a little worn and tattered. And so I don't know if it's on the list, so I just thought I'd make mention of it. I will also just ditto and say this, and maybe it'll make the top 10 board or something, as Dr. Hill said. So I just simply wrote AVID for all, like everybody. It is the most beneficial program. I could go on and on and on, but I just don't see why there's something that's good and we would just kind of divvy it out. Everyone should be practicing that. So whatever I would say we can do to make that happen, we need to make that happen. So now it's going to be on a list with my name next to it or somebody's name. And then I also found out, and I did say this to Mr. Vatira back there that I was going to mention, I guess we're looking at, there's going to be some safe route signages, and so I had an opportunity to see them through another collaboration that I'm a part of, and I was really excited about them, but I told them that I don't give the authorization to put them on the gates. They know all those details, but they're going to be nice for those that are driving up to the schools and to see. So it's just another safety support that we definitely need in our schools. And then today I had the opportunity to spend, it was a minimum, and it might be even more, but there were 1,400 young women athletes were at the Orange Show today in the Valencia room, and I had the opportunity to MC that event. It was absolutely stellar. My invitation came through the district, but I was so happy to hear, and I think it's fresh off the press, that our own Carmel Brand is the athletic director of the year. So I know we'll probably be for the state. For the state, and I know that we'll be honoring her soon, but it was just great. I had never been exposed to such an event. It was absolutely awesome to have all girl athletes from football to soccer to you name it, all in one room, being inspired by several presenters that did an amazing job today. And it was just, I was in awe of the work that has been taking place under the guise of our own Miss Brand. So give her a shout out. Trayvon Martin had to leave, I guess, earlier. I don't see him. So he did leave an announcement that there's going to be a meet and greet with Senator Connie Leyva on the 22nd from 6 to 7 at the Aspen building for the county. And it's a part of the education committee. So that is up and coming. And so we definitely want to talk to all of our legislators that are supporting the work that we're doing with our students. Thank you. Those are my comments.
All right, great. Thank you. Mr. Gallo?
Yes, thank you, Abigail. I'll try not to be as long as Gwen was, but
There was no clock.
this is going to be an early meeting, I think. This is great. I want to thank Janie and her team. She's pulled together a team to address starting student-run businesses and actually figuring out how we can have them kind of independently operate, yet of course operate within the guidelines of our school district. And it's part of the career pathways. You know, we see various career pathways with a bunch of different focuses, from manufacturing to advanced technology farming to digital media arts, et cetera, et cetera. But for students that may not have an interest in those specific career pathways, the implementation of student-run businesses that where students can actually get engaged in all of the other peripheral activities associated with entrepreneurial studies, running a business, business finance, accounting, sales, marketing, all of management, all of the other types of strategies where they can still participate in that particular career pathway, even though the, say, manufacturing isn't of their interest. And they kind of share a bunch of different job categories within an organizational structure, so they get to experience this. Well, many of these career pathways have identified products and services they wish to sell, and that becomes an issue of how do we manage that within the district and things. And I can't think of a better person, Janie, than you to figure this out. I mean, you figured it out for the district, so I appreciate you pulling the team together and the representative folks from, you know, risk management to finance to accounting to you name it, safety management, et cetera. And I know the teams really have appreciated that. The participants in the various career pathways have appreciated that. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you. Mr. Tillman? None? Okay. Well, for my public comments, I just want to add my name and right next to Ms. Rogers and Dr. Hill with regarding AVID for all. And I think that's something many of us pushed when we were recently elected. That was definitely one of my pushes. And we have gone a long way. Before we didn't have we didn't have AVID in elementary school. Now we do have several schools that have elementary, AVID in elementary. So this is something that we want to make sure that all students have access to, regardless of their GPA. So they have great note-taking, organizational skills that they teach in the class. So that's going to be very helpful. All right. So moving along, let's go ahead and go to 7.6, comments by superintendent and staff members.
Thank
Dr.
you,
Marsden?
Madam President. Several congratulations to pass along and compliments to some of our community partners. I'll start with those. First, we have a good friend of the district, Terrence Stone, here in the audience. I want to welcome him. Thank you for being here tonight. He, along with Young Visionaries, who he's led, will be recognized on Channel 4. So just want to mention that to you, as well as Kim Carter, who is with Time for Change, was recognized recently on the Steve Harvey Show just last week. And so that's a big deal. As you know, she won CNN Heroes, champions, both their partners with the district and with the community, and do wonderful work. So thank you for your leadership, and thank you for being here tonight. Also want to mention, board, we had a passed through with HBO. You may have heard, you saw some advertisement of it in the newspaper as well, that Jim and Deb Fallows, who wrote a book called Our Towns, that tell of their journey across the nation to find cities that are making a difference in the city, turning it around, and they highlighted this city and this district and the accomplishments as part of their efforts. And so that book has now begun to be made into a documentary by HBO, and they made a stop here at Cajon High School, interviewed some students and talked about accomplishments within the school district and within the city, toured a lot of different activities within the city, and spent some good time here along with Jim and Deb Fallows. And so that was a fantastic opportunity to see the great work going to national news, if you will. And then also just wanted to mention, not only did I have lunch with the mayor today, I had coffee with the city manager. And so as in this effort to bridge and strengthen relationships with the city, we anticipate further dialogue with the city council as you've requested to extend the Education Bridge Committee. Happy to hear the mayor is very open to that opportunity as well. Wanted to extend congratulations to Carmel Brand, being the California Athletic Director of the Year. We will be recognizing her at an upcoming board meeting. And also want to mention, board, that we have a huge congratulations that goes out to Arroyo Valley High School and its Education for Tomorrow Academy for being designated a 2019 California Distinguished Academy. Thank you to Principal Bernardo Valenzuela and the Arroyo Valley teachers and staff for all you do to support student learning. Want to also mention to you that we have several students who sent some notice to us, and they have some cards and things I'll pass out to you, but one I have to read to you. A student sent me a thank you note, Daniel Medina, and he says, thank you for keeping all the schools in the district from breaking down. Keep up the great work. So I want to pass that compliment to you, because I know he's not talking about just me, he's talking about this board and this team. Another one, we, board, received a awesome citation from Warm Springs Elementary School, and they checked boxes like professional accomplishment, spectacular uniqueness, brains for weeks, style for days, and they said, thank you for always being pleasant and welcoming. You're the best. You make the rest of us look bad. So that was a little compliment from them. And then we got this is for me, I received the best ever superintendent ever award. And so I have that here. It's here in orange and yellow. Overall awesomeness, extreme adorableness, personality plus, and supreme kindness. So there you have it. I'll be adding that to my resume soon, and I wanted to share that with you along with some other letters that students wrote and on their Kindness Challenge Week. So again, these are from Warm Springs, but just wanted to, I'll pass some up and down so you can just take a look. In addition to that, wanted to, again, not just thank the students, but specifically I want to mention them by name. Aiseline Bermudez, 5th grader from Warm Springs, Matthew Bucio, 5th grade, Beer Diana Pacius from Castillo from Warm Springs, 5th grade, Gabriela Rodriguez, Landon Tarleton, Andres Zavala, Jonathan Bucio, Kenya Jones, Angelina Medina Garcia, Daisy Ordonez, and Sherilyn Rodriguez, all from Warm Springs. So thank you for taking the time to write these letters. We want to pass along that appreciation. And then just a brief update, board, from Dr. Mitchell. The California Department of Education provided statewide guidance on their accountability plan just on January 31st, and our team worked quickly to review and summarize the information received, and he wanted to share a brief update with you on that, and also to share with you an update on our student advisory. So Dr. Mitchell.
Thank you, Dr. Marsden. So board, last Thursday the CDE released a statewide list of low-performing schools targeted for additional supports. We have received a list from the CDE of schools in our district that qualify for ATSI. That's additional targeted support for improvement. There are 12 of those of those schools that qualify for ATSI. The more severe performing schools they're calling comprehensive support and improvement, and there are 5 of those within our district, so a total of 19 of our schools are on the statewide list. Tonight, board, we just want to give you 3 quick advisories for you. So number 1 is that many of the schools identified for additional supports by the state, we're happy to report that based on your direction 5 years ago in establishing TSSP schools or targeted supports for targeted supports for school progress, we have been already supporting many of these schools that are on the list. And so we appreciate the board's vision in establishing a system of support for our lower performing schools in the absence of the statewide accountability system while they were still developing that. And so we're happy to support that. This would just be added resources for schools that we're already supporting. Number 2, there are dollars allocated for the lower performing schools, which are the CSI schools, comprehensive supports and improvements, and there are 5 of those. There are additional dollars that will come along with this identification. As recently as today, I reviewed the application, and we'll be processing that application next week to receive those dollars. So that would be on top of dollars that you've already allocated in support of many of those schools. And 3, Cabinet is in the process of processing all this information. There are still some questions out there from the state. We are going to process the information, work with our principals and leaders as a cabinet, and then bring back a recommendation to the board in terms of how we will support the school, continue to support our TSSP schools, look at additional supports that are coming from the state, and and of course meet all of these statewide requirements for participation in this program. So lots more information forthcoming. Just wanted to let the board know that this is on our radar and that we are actively working it.
And thank you, Mr. Tillman.
Dr. Mitchell, as soon as you get information that gives specific dates,
yes,
and also amounts of money,
absolutely,
for the different levels of schools, that'd be great. In the list of the schools, I think we should be as transparent as possible.
Absolutely.
Let the parents and the community know what we're doing already,
yep,
and then how that additional funding will benefit those sites.
Exactly, and we plan as early as the first board meeting in March to bring back our synopsis and plan. We also want to make sure that we work with our union leaders to advise them and involve them in the decisions going forth as it relates to this program. And so we're going to be back in front of you first board meeting in March.
And the other big thing, Ms. Christopher, will be to make sure we know how much that money is ongoing, how much was one-time money, and how much that we can make long-term commitments. That makes a big difference also. Thank you.
Thank you. The second update that Dr. Marsden asked me to share with you, as you know, board, we've been working for a couple years now with our Superintendent Student Advisory Committee. These are representatives from each of our high schools that cross the demographic of our typical high schools. Our whole team has been meeting with this group of young leaders over time, usually once a month, sometimes once a quarter, and they are preparing proposals with dollars attached to them. We believe that we'll be ready to present those proposals to the board to be funded and to be launched in the late March or so. And so we're looking forward to that. The students are excited about it. They've come up with some really practical solutions to their whole push is to really involve more students in campus life, also in civic participation. They're also really interested in finding ways to bridge schools together. They recognize that they are sitting on islands as high schools, and so they're really interested in using social media and other platforms to bridge the divide between schools as well as within schools. And so we're excited to bring those proposals to the board late March.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mitchell.
Okay, moving along, let's go to 8.0, consent calendar. Do I have a motion? Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Okay, are there any items to be pulled? None? Okay, let's go ahead and call for the vote. All's in favor say aye.
Aye.
All's opposed say nay. Okay, motion carried. Let's go to action item 9.0. And Dr. Wiseman, this is a personnel report, 9.1, personnel report number 13, dated February the 5th, 2019. Dr. Wiseman?
As presented.
So moved.
Okay, any discussion? Hearing none, let's go ahead and call for the vote. All's in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carried. 9.2, approval to apply signing bonus for hard-to-fill principal vacancies.
So moved.
Okay. Any discussion? If not, let's go ahead and call for the vote. All's in favor say aye.
Aye.
All's opposed say nay. Motion carried. And let me just read this little piece of language. Be it resolved that the Board of Education approves the request for hard-to-fill principal vacancies to receive signing bonuses up to the amount of $20,000. 9.3, board ongoing initiatives reports. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Any discussion? Okay, hearing none, let's go ahead and call for the vote. All's in favor say aye.
Aye.
All's opposed say nay. Okay, motion carried. And that was 9.4, board top 10.
So moved.
Any discussion? Yes, Dr. Hill.
On 9.4, and I know we have the board top 10, but when I see that the five that's listed, 5 have been assigned to Dr. Mitchell, and 2 have been assigned to Dr. Volkemer. I don't have as much of a problem with the 2 as I do all 5 in the top 10 being assigned to one department. And I think, again, when we look at our top 10, we need to make sure, we don't want to give people work just for the sake of saying doing work, but I think it is a concern when we have a top 10 and we're looking at one department to do that work, pretty fast, because it's a top 10 because you want it done right away. And I just don't think it's equitable. I don't think it's fair. And I think we need to possibly agendize that, and we may have to have a discussion of, out of those top 5, which ones do we really want to, we need to get done. I'm going to certainly support the motion, but I'm just hoping we can agendize and talk about it so we can be, a little fair to the entire cabinet. Thank
Okay.
you.
All right, thank you, Dr. Hill. Are the board members in consensus with that? Okay, so then Dr. Morrison, if we could try to agendize this, please. Okay, great. Let's go ahead and call for the vote. All's in favor say aye.
Aye.
All's opposed say nay. Okay, motion carried. 9.5, board follow-up.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Let's go ahead and call for the vote. All's in favor say aye.
Aye.
All's opposed say nay. Motion carried. 9.6, future agenda item.
So moved.
Any discussion? Okay, hearing none, let's go ahead and call for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed say nay. Okay, motion carried. 10.0, summary of board requests. Dr. Volkemer.
Thank you, Madam President. We just have 3 this evening, Board. The first one is explore expansion of the AVID program, co-requested by Dr. Hill, Vice President Rogers, and President Rosales Medina. Number 2, take a look at the marquee at Pacific High School and see if it might need an upgrade. And number 3 agenda is the composition of the top 10 by Dr. Hill. That's all I had.
Okay, awesome. Let's go ahead and 11.0 adjournment. Before we adjourn, I have to say, this is, I think, one of the earliest board meetings that we have finished before 7:30, so let's try to beat that. So do I have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Okay. All right, and do we have to vote on that one? No, we don't. No, okay, well, good night, everyone. Our next board meeting will be February the 19th. Thank you.